Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. It's a time for a Pirate Broadcast, and we got Trae in the room. Pirates Trae is joining us from Houston. Good morning, Trae. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you? I'm so excited to be here.
Right. I'm all right. You know, we've been working together on some projects in video and live streaming combination.
We have.
Which has been an amazing kind of outcome. And I just want to, for those that don't know you and haven't met you yet, or, you know, it's like, who's this Trae guy Russ is talking to? Kind of give us a backstory on who you are and what you're doing, what you focus on, what you're excited about.
Yeah, I mean, so I met you in the context, I do a lot of video production. I do live events for companies, and I do brand storytelling. And so one of the people I started working with a couple of years ago was Mark LaCour from OGGN. And
shout out to Mark.
Shout out to Mark. Great connector, even better human being.
Yep.
And probably an even better businessman.
all the things we like in individuals, right?
Yeah. No, but yeah, so I started doing some work for him, and I guess in last November, right, we started doing planning, or I guess last October, September, we started planning for the American Petroleum Institute's Houston chapter's live stream event.
Yeah.
It was the first one they'd ever done. And we killed it. We did a great job, and it was awesome. And through that, I got to get to know you. And, you know, I was like very intrigued and really enjoyed talking to you. And we've continued our friendship and business dealing since.
Well, you know, it's funny, too, because the unique possibility of doing a small, safe live event and having it captured on camera just enhances the live stream tenfold. I mean, it was really interactive, and our friend Warren Spiewak and interviewing people around the room, and then a panel discussion where we had slides going up, and it was very interactive and a lot of activity there. And everybody enjoyed it. Everybody had a great time.
It was a great time. I mean, that was in November, and things had opened up even less than they had now. But yeah, it was a live event, socially distanced, and I think people were just like really excited to go eat lunch with some other people.
Yeah, it was really a nice thing to actually put it together. And I want to talk a little bit about how you got into video production, though. What's your origin story and how to, you know, because I love the idea of story and branding and some of the content that you bring to the table, and it's. I want to learn more about how you got started. What was the seed that planted in your head that grew into something that was really phenomenal in terms of video? What was the trigger?
That's a great so I have, since I was 18, I think the only other jobs I've had are bartender, barista, and lifeguard. So I basically have been doing, and those are all part-time jobs. I've been doing this my entire life. But the way I got into it was in middle school or elementary school, my mom worked at a museum in this small town we grew up in called Las Cruces, New Mexico. And I always loved writing, and I think that the museum director's partner was a journalist, and I was up there all the time bugging people to entertain me, probably. And so like, hey, let's start a newspaper for kids. And so I started writing more stories in a more like outward facing context then. And then, you know, I was always into performing. Like, I always bugged my mom to let me go try out for like community theater. I was in theater in middle school and high school, and I was always in newspaper. I was like the newspaper editor in high school. And then in high school, I was like, I don't really like being in charge of everybody, but I want to be this. I want to be in charge of the people telling the stories that I like.
Yeah.
So then I really focused in on being the features editor for the newspaper for 3 years or for 2 years. And yeah, it was great. I got to like, and so I love talking to people. And through that, I was like, oh, I want to go to college and be a journalist. And then I was like, actually, I'd rather go to film school and make videos because it's like you get to write, and then I got into photography at some point and I kind of combined everything. And so basically, since college, yeah, I've been making videos off and on. The first short film I made was with a couple of friends, and the high school I went to was actually where George W. Bush's kids went. So, the Bush daughters, the Bush twins.
Okay.
And they were a couple of grades below me, but the guys I made the movie with were in their grade. And so that first film we made, that first short film we made, we got the governor, George W. Bush, to be in the short film. It was about lawnmowers. The lawn mowing war, and we filmed part of it on the
that is awesome
at the mansion. And in the movie he opens the door and he's like, you know, with the voice that we all know, he's like, hey, yeah, can you go ahead and mow the front and the back? Thanks, boys. And then he just slams the door on us. So I don't know. It's
that
ever
is
since
classic.
then I've just been, like I really love video. So I went to film school. I worked for a post house in Austin. I worked for a kids show. I worked for another post house. And then my wife and I decided we wanted to just do something crazy. And we took a year off of our lives and we went to New Zealand.
Oh, I always wanted to go to New Zealand.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Everyone should go. We should all be so lucky to go visit New Zealand once in our lives.
Yeah.
And I brought a video camera and I shot kind of a documentary about traveling around. I never edited it, which is, I guess that's probably like happens to a lot of people. And but you spend a lot of time like, oh, I want to shoot this. I want to shoot this. And then after that, I went on this pilgrimage in Europe and through France and Spain, the Camino de Santiago. And
is that the 500-mile walk or something?
Yeah, it is. It can be longer. I walked a 1,200-mile version of it across 3 months, basically.
Oh, Red O'Loughlin did that he and his wife did that.
Who did that?
Red O'Loughlin. He's another pirate.
Okay.
He's actually there in Houston. He's an awesome individual that you should meet. You guys could swap stories about that.
That'd be cool. Do you drink coffee, by the way? Cheers.
I do drink coffee. See my feed for some reason, Trae. I need to pirate broadcast. I don't know if you can see that, if it's going to come into focus or not.
I can make it out. It's a little blurry right now. I don't know why.
Yeah, my feed is. I think I need to reboot my router. Technical issues. I mean, it looks great on my side on my computer.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the feed itself, and it's blurry. So.
Oh no. Well,
can you
do that live? Is that something you can do live?
I could let you take over the show, and I'll just reboot my router, and I'll come back and see if it works. Well, you can tell the story. You can tell the story, Trae.
That's really funny. I mean, I because this has happened to me on a couple of live shows where you're like, after the Camino, I ended up working for Lakewood Church and for Joel Osteen for 10 years. And, he does essentially a live-to-tape video show every weekend. Yeah. So I did hundreds of those. I mean, 10 times 50, 10 times 40. And
holy cow.
Yeah, I think we didn't often have problems because we had so many backups, but we definitely, on 2 occasions, the audio computer just dropped out, or the video system. The one other time the video system just rebooted in the middle of the show, and you're like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, and it happens.
Yeah.
We did an event where the audio wasn't optimal,
That's
and
true.
it happens. There's technical things that happen, and what people realize or may not realize is that we do these things and we've done them so many times that we can make it look easy. However, it's not always easy. It's not always simple. So it's like a duck, underneath the water. We're moving, paddling as fast as we can to make everything look as smooth as possible. So it's crazy. So
That's true. I mean, that's one of the interesting things about video production. I think is it's so easy and accessible now. But I feel like when you are hiring professional people, you're paying for us to stay calm under pressure.
Yeah. To make sure that everything's beautiful. It's like everything's going to work out just fine. Mm-hmm. It may seem like chaos right now. However, the end result will look like a polished piece of artwork. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the I feel like the better and better you get and the better people you work with, even when things are totally just going totally out of control, you would not probably realize it because everyone's so calm.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, can you repatch that audio? Oh yeah, okay. Did we try rebooting it? Oh yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I really enjoy and appreciate about you is the fact that you're calm and you're always easy to be around, conversational, and it's just amazing to work with you. So if you're not working with Trae and you need some video, give Trae a call. So I want to give a shout out to a few people that are in the room. You're coming in. Hi, friends. I miss my pirate life. Darlene, thank you so much. Been working on a lot over changes. Hope to be more present again. Always awesome to have you here. And Angie, a pirate fan. Love you, Angie. And Tracy, the producer. Good morning. She jumped in. I think you saw her. You may have seen her jump in. And she was trying to see if she could fix my camera, but apparently, I think it's the internet connection myself because it's really lagging right now. I see it. Kenneth Dunner, Russ Johns, savor the flavor and the awesomeness in you, sir, from Sugar Land, Texas, just southwest of Houston, U.S. Baby. I think you're in that neighborhood, aren't you, Trae?
Kenneth, we should hang out. I live in Sugar Land.
And here's another Houston native, Hyatt Ives. He's another individual that is an awesome individual. Holy cow. Yes, it is blurry, Russ. Bob Spur, what is going on, brother? Out from Seattle. You still living in Seattle? Are you still out in Washington? Did you move? Did you relocate? Let me know. The thing that I love about storytelling, Trae, and the way we can capture video is there's so many opportunities. You could do like a one-room story. You could do a movie in a single room and tell different stories and different camera angles and lighting and all of these things that can go into it. And so how do you practice these techniques and these skills and just getting better so you don't have to freak out when something goes wrong?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. They say that like doing is practice. So
yeah.
I mean, I think I shoot and make at least 1 or 2 videos a week of some kind, probably more. Like I'm looking at on my other screen over here, Premiere's open, and I have 4 projects that I'm editing right now, or supervising the edit of. And so, yeah, I mean, that's one way. And then also, I just really enjoy reading. I enjoy watching movies. Like last night I finished editing, and everyone in my house had gone to bed, and I was pretty tired, but I was like, I feel like there's a movie I've been watching over a couple days, and I was like, I just want to finish watching it. And you think about it, and like I try and read a book a week. So, and like I really enjoy reading like I know a lot of people don't like fiction. At least, I mean, in the business world, they're not necessarily like they don't necessarily see the value of fiction.
Yeah.
And I disagree. I mean, that would make sense, right? Because I tell stories, but I love fiction. I love hearing the way and reading the way that people manage to tell essentially the same 3 or 4 stories in hundreds of different ways from hundreds, millions of different point of views.
Yeah.
It's always either a story about love or a story about overcoming.
Yeah.
But
The story arc, the famous story arc, the storytelling arc, the
yeah,
hero's journey and all of the things that go into that.
for sure.
That's fantastic. Is there any particular kind of genre that you appreciate or lean into a little bit more than others?
I mean, I kind of go in waves. I feel like a couple of years ago, I was really into romantic comedies.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't watch enough of those or read enough of those. But right now, I'm kind of into sci-fi again.
Okay.
And I always kind of like supernatural sci-fi. Like I love stories about heaven and hell and bad choices and
Yeah.
I guess so I guess that would kind of lean towards like supernatural horror. But
Uh-huh.
I think I like it when people are put in really uncomfortable situations and I feel like the story, Job's story in the Bible, him having to deal with all of the myriad of temptations and troubles that he was put through is just fat. It's gripping, and essentially people make that story over and over again.
Yeah.
Like the movie I was watching last night was a film. It's like 15 or 16 years old. Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
I love that movie. So I was rewatching it.
Oh, that's awesome. Wendy says, "Yay, more filmmaker pirates. Welcome, Trae. Thrilled to welcome you to the posse. What's the movie you cannot pass up if you see it pop up unexpectedly?" That's a great question.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple. I mean, one is The Big Lebowski. Like if anyone's like, "Hey, you want to watch Big Lebowski?"
Hey,
like,
dude,
yes,
man.
And then I really love Mulan, like the old Disney film Mulan. Like I watch that with my kids all the time.
Okay.
And I love all the like. Anytime my kids are like, "Hey, you want to watch a Disney short?" Like I love those Pixar and Disney shorts that are on Disney Plus. I'm always like, yes. And then they're real into this show, like into sitcoms right now. And they kind of watch like newer ones, but like they were watching this one called Coop and Cammy, and I think it's hilarious. It's just like so silly. So that's what I've been going after lately. Yeah, I mean I'm not like highbrow, but I'm also not lowbrow. I don't know. It's kind of everything's all over the place.
You like diversity in your life, huh? Now I think
you don't have to, but I do.
Oh man, the funny thing about life in film and how people create. I mean, I like the Coen brothers. Oh brother, where art thou? Some of those films are quirky, and you see the story of, you see the story behind the story and little nuances of the storytelling process. And it just really fascinates me to see how Tarantino is a great one to kind of take scenes from another film and, plant them in and use them, repurpose them. And Reservoir Dogs was an amazing film that was like that one room film almost that was put out there. And just so many different aspects of filmmaking that we can do. Are you a gear junkie, or are you fairly minimal in your equipment?
No, I mean, I wish I was more minimal. I could show you all my gear. It's just kind of lame. It's just like splayed. No, I mean, I like gear, but also you kind of have to.
Yeah.
For a lot of the gigs, I would, if on higher end budgets, you can always rent stuff. But
Yeah.
for a lot of corporate stuff where you're like working within people's budgets, it's a lot easier to just buy equipment that'll serve you well and have it at your house. Because especially Houston's pretty large, and like for me to go get a bunch of gear to rent is, which I didn't actually have a lot of gear until I started buying gear about a year ago, because I would just go rent it from people. But then I was like, man, I'm spending a day before a job that I can't invoice for going to get all the gear.
Yeah.
And then I'm spending a day afterwards returning it all. And man, it was driving me crazy. So
in Houston, it could take you an hour just to get across town.
yeah, for sure. Because I would go to somebody's house in Pearland. I'd go to somebody's house in East Houston. Then I'd go downtown. Then I'd go, you're just all over. And I live in Southwest Houston in Sugar Land. So
yeah.
I'm not when I lived in the center of town, it was maybe a little easier because everything's 30 minutes away. But now everything's, except for the center of town, is like 45 or an hour away. So
yeah,
it's a lot of driving.
It's been a while since I've been in Houston. I need to get back there and check it out.
It's been a while since we've been anywhere, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Ken says, "Hey Russ, the Maltese just joined the room." He's from Malta, so
man.
Yeah, he's an awesome individual that is another pirate. And Wendy says, "Do you find that watching an experienced producer kind of takes the movie magic out of the experience?"
No. I mean, I don't know. I always just think it's so amazing when people can actually make and finish a project. That I'm like, that alone is like movie magic to me.
Finishing a project.
Yeah.
So do you have any of your projects up on line that people could experience, go watch?
A lot of the projects I've done the last 2 years are not projects that I can necessarily share on my own website. But,
so they're corporate projects or client projects that.
But I definitely have my website. If you go to my website, www.traestanley.com, I've got a lot of stuff on there, and then my Vimeo page I think is linked there. But yeah, I got a bunch of stuff on Vimeo.
Yeah,
that's probably
the best way to find you.
Who knows? Yeah, my website, Vimeo, or I'm on LinkedIn. That's it. I'm on LinkedIn every day. So if you want to like chat or hang out, just hit me up on LinkedIn.
Another movie maker, Rob, he's doing movies in the wine industry. He's a sommelier and doing some great work up in there. Oh, Happy cool. April Fool's Day. Yeah, it's April Fool's Day. Holy cow. It's like, yeah, Malteser. Ken says Malteser. Love it. I love it. The thing that I really want to impress people with is the fact that there are people out there doing work like yourself, live streaming people like myself that are actually starting to work together to create amazing new projects. And we have some things, we got some proposals out there that we're going to be working on and doing this hybrid approach of doing a live event that's streaming out to the internet so we can actually share it with more people. I think it's a great concept, and I think a lot of companies, organizations, and event creators would probably want to think about that or talk about that. So
yeah, no, I think it's for a company. I think it's a great idea because, you get people at your space, you get people online in your online space, but then it's really easy because we've captured everything that occurred. If you wanted to go back, edit it into smaller chunks that you can reshare.
Yeah.
And I think you can get a lot of mileage out of the money that you invest into one of those events. I think you could use that content for 6, 8, 10 months if you wanted, easily.
Oh, absolutely. And then you could take small slices and actually redirect people back to your website, your content, the original intent. I think it's a powerful tool and it's visual. And I noticed that, especially on LinkedIn, there's an opportunity where, lower thirds, and they're putting in the text automatically now over the live streams. They're making some improvements. It's a limited release, and you can't just go on and create a live just automatically like YouTube or Facebook, but it's systematically going through this process of evaluating what works, continuing to improve it, and I think a lot of organizations could leverage a live event with camera and a crew like you provide, and then stream it out. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
excited
think
about
the other thing that people don't even think about is you can take everything that people say and get the transcripts. And then now you have, I don't know, 10,000 words that you can turn into 20, 30 blog posts. You know, and you can if you get stills at the event, you can, throw stills up, and I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with this content.
Yeah.
So
all over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just have to invest in, kind of a little bit of strategy and a little bit of plan. I mean, that's the big thing, right? Is like not just planning the event, but planning what to do with what you get from the event.
Or you could just call Trae and have him
call us.
Work it out. Yeah, yeah, call us. We'll work for you. We'll put it together for you.
Yeah.
So what do you see coming up for Trae and some of the things you're doing in the next 2 years? What's your intention, Trae? What are you looking to expand into? Feature films, corporate gigs?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really focused on doing. So I started a company last year called Listed Media, and it's kind of a place for me to put all of my corporate videos, and I do a lot of industrial videos.
Okay.
Into a more polished website. And I think that's going to allow me, rather than being a personal brand, to grow as a company. And so my goal this year is to hire an editor for Listed Media. I feel very lucky to have so much business.
And you're frozen. The internet must be having a problem today.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's I mean, kind of expanding my nascent business that's not my personal brand, but is a company that I can kind of market the live streaming stuff and the corporate storytelling stuff under, and just expanding my ability to talk to business people at their level, going to film school and then working at a church, essentially never having to worry about money for 20 years.
Yeah.
In the sense that it was either art and I was paying for it just on my own, or sometimes through grants, or like at a church, they're like, hey, this is how much money we have and you have to do this. You're like, okay, let's figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And so now I have to go talk to people and be like, hey, this is how much it's going to cost me to do it, and I need to make some money, and also I want you to plan for how to use it. Because I don't know if you feel this way, but one of the things that really just like brings me down is when you make this awesome video or you do an awesome event, and then you go back and you check out how they've promoted it and how they've gotten it out into the world, and it has 7 views. And you're like, oh man, like,
yeah,
come on, let us help you with that part too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a huge, I mean, that's content for another episode. We could go deep on that one.
Yeah.
Because there's so many opportunities that people, I think, are not necessarily seeing in the creative process. Because the creative process is only part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
The development of the relationships and development of the conversation and all of the follow-up and all of the things that can go into it are all opportunities to start a conversation. And a lot of business owners, they get really busy in their business, and that they just want the result. They don't necessarily want the work. They don't want to spend the time. So we need to have that conversation. And as creators, I think it's smart for any creator to actually add that to their inventory of skills to be able to promote the creative process as well.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
one thing that as I've grown in my skills, I've noticed some of my friends have moved to New York and to LA, and one of them in particular runs this amazing team of people that make some of the best music videos in the world. You know, like he just shot and released 3 videos for Justin Bieber.
Uh-huh.
They're doing a couple for Billie Eilish next week. And,
Oh, wow.
I mean, they're amazing. Everyone who's seen it is like, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. But when you go to his office, his creative team is, I mean, they're a large office. They have 15 people in the creative team, but they have 150 people in the business side and working to get the metrics and how to get the videos out and how to structure even some of the creative stuff in the videos so that more people will watch it. But,
Yeah.
you know, he has, I think, 250 million people watched the last video he released. So that's
and it's a machine. It's a machine. It's a process.
well, it's like any other business.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, every business has the part that is the client facing side, and then has all the back end stuff. And people
Yeah.
have to realize that like that's the same thing with like media. You have the creative and the front end facing stuff, which is the videos you see on your screen, and then you have all the back end stuff that's still important. You still have to do that.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome, Trae. I really appreciate you dropping by and joining the Pirate Broadcast. And
Man, I will talk
obviously,
to you any day of the week, Russ.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to many more projects. And if you want to have a conversation about live streaming, video production, and some of these ideas that we've talked about, you know, make sure that you reach out to us. Start a conversation on LinkedIn. We're both available on LinkedIn. We'll respond to DMs and make the connection, follow up, introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm a pirate, connect with Trae. And let's start this dialogue, because 2021, you know, things are going to evolve, continue to evolve.
Yeah.
And the reality is business is still going to be growing, moving forward, and producing results. So, Trae, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to our next conversation.
All right.
So,
All right. I'm going to do it.
and as always, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Like, comment, share, and all the social things that go on, all the shenanigans behind the scenes to promote our content and our media and make things happen in the background. Because kindness is cool and smiles are free. And you enjoy the day. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.